You know, it's that time of the week again.
It is Monday Night Mission with Dan Marati Hottie and
the man that has nearly blown the roof off of every major arena, not just around the country, but around the globe. The man that led Men on a Mission to Tag Team Championship Gold in the World Wrestling Federation in Rocked MSG like it's never been rocked before at WrestleMania 10. I don't know how his name can only have 5 letters, but he is the man on a mission, Oscar. Brand new Monday Night Mission begins now.
There are so many missions.
Wrestling fans, the winter heats up with the return of the Berzerker John Nord. The WWE legend will be back for Wrestling Insider tapings, live episodes, watch-alongs, and cyber autograph signings beginning Sunday, February the 20th. Check out Boston Wrestling's exclusive print that the Berzerker will sign for you live on air. Get ready for 3 big days of the Berzerker John Nord. Head on over to bostonwrestling.com for complete information. Wrestling fans, we warned you this day would come. Unfortunately, we're running out of original episodes of Wrestling Insider's Party with Marty each and every Thursday night at 10 p.m., but we're starting up that Indiegogo. You can help the cause. You can help Marty's show continue each and every week. Nobody does it like Marty. We had an incredible time with him at our 20th anniversary bash, November 13th at Memorial Hall here in Melrose. We want to have the good times keep on rolling, but we can't do it without you. Look for the Indiegogo link in the comment section below or across our website and social media platforms. We have some great perks, great rewards where you can even meet Marty himself. There's nothing like it. Since July of 2020, every week we've brought you the show. We need your help to keep on going. We tell you, without wrestling fans, there is no professional wrestling, and there's no better time to help the cause now. Let's keep Marty rocking each and every Thursday night. Wrestling fans, VIP packages and tickets are on sale now for Boston Wrestling Sports Back to the 80s Live Wrestling and Fan Fest celebration, Saturday night, April the 16th at Memorial Hall in Melrose, Massachusetts. Meet WWE Hall of Famer Jake the Snake Roberts, Axe and Smash Demolition, WWE Hoffer Tito Santana, the Berzerker, and more 80s icons to be announced. Take part in a VIP exclusive Q&A session, a VIP exclusive 80s Legends group photo, autographs, pose photos, all before the superstars of yesterday, today, and tomorrow blow the roof off of Memorial Hall. Get your VIP packages and tickets now at bostonwrestling.com for a professional wrestling celebration decades in the making. We'll see you live April the 16th.
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, welcome to the Valentine's Day, Monday, February the 14th, 2022 edition of Wrestling Insider's Monday Night Mission. What did you guys think of tonight's go-home edition of WWE Raw for Elimination Chamber as the road to WrestleMania continues to inch closer and closer to Arlington, Texas, April 2nd and the 3rd. We hope to be here live for an Elimination Chamber watch-along this Saturday at high noon. Dan Marati here at MWF Studios in your home away from home. MWF Studios in downtown Melrose, Massachusetts. The zip code of champions, 02176. Hope all is well wherever you may be. As we get ready for another night of insight from our Monday night partner in crime momentarily. We're also now less than 9 weeks away from the big one, Boston Wrestling MWF's Back to the 80s Live Wrestling Event and Interactive Fan Fest, Saturday, April the 16th at Memorial Hall right here in Melrose, Massachusetts. WWE Hall of Famer Hacksaw Jim Duggan is going to be joining us as the marquee attraction, along with 3-time WWE Tag Team Champions Axe and Smash Demolition, WWE Hall of Famer Tito Santana, the Wild Berzerker, and as announced earlier tonight before Raw, the man that scored the pinfall victory over the British Bulldogs and Tito Santana at WrestleMania 3, sometimes wrestler, sometimes heel referee, Dangerous Danny Davis is the 6th featured VIP legend joining us live, and wait until you see who the 7th featured guest announcement is going to be next Monday night before Raw. Oscar and I have a lot to talk about when it comes to Jim Duggan, Danny Davis, and Jake Roberts in a little bit. If you have not seen the Back to the 80s live event page, we have added a brand new deluxe VIP package aimed at the diehard autograph collector with upgrades that include 8 extra autographs, one from each superstar, an exclusive free raffle only open to VIPs for a Hulk Hogan autographed 11 by 14 WWF photo file poster, probably a $300 item on eBay. Plus, you're going to be the first to know about our Memories and Legends Night to Remember. That's all I'm going to say on that. Whether you want to go back in time as a VIP or simply want to attend an awesome live wrestling event, we have 5 different ticket levels for you to choose from on April 16th. Boston Wrestling's Back to the 80s event is an immersive, interactive experience you're never going to forget, folks, with a VIP exclusive Q&A session, a VIP 80s icon group photo with all of the featured superstars, autographed and posed photo session, all before the superstars of yesterday, today, and tomorrow light up Memorial Hall like never before. Pigottville is going to be on fire, baby. Get the best seats in the house now and save a few dollars over at bostonwrestling.com. The cost of all VIP packages and tickets increases $5 the week of the event online and at the door. Again, this is a first-class event at a fine facility. They had pro wrestling there back in the 1930s and 40s, and here we are in 2022 doing it all over again. It will be a night you will never forget. Some updates for the rest of the week before we get going. If you haven't had the chance to enjoy the Berzerker's Wrestling Insiders Throwback Thursdays yet, tomorrow we're having an all-day Tuesday marathon of every episode with the big man as we continue to await the return of Just Incredible. Great stuff for you to listen to while at work in the background, or fire up the old HD smart TV. However you want to watch it, John Nord will be there for quite some time. It's over 8 hours from what I recall. For fans of Quincy's Wrestling Challenge, there is a very good chance Boston Wrestling Goodwill Ambassador Quincy Rustani returns live this Thursday night at 7 p.m. for his Challenge Watch-Along. We'll be picking right back up where we left off in 1986. Quincy won't be back weekly as his 1978 Honda-Matic is off the road until the spring, but with the weather being nicer in the Boston area on Thursday, we may get a special visit. We noted the Elimination Chamber watch-along on Saturday, and the weekend rounds out with the in-studio return of the Berzerker, John Nord himself. He'll be back taping episodes of Wrestling Insiders, along with Cyber Autograph signings Sunday and Monday, a Royal Rumble 1992 watch-along Sunday night, live episodes, and more. You can pre-order your Berzerker autograph photos at bostonwrestling.com. We have a really cool Berzerker custom design available in 8x10 and 11x14 sizes that are not only great for your collection, but it'll personalize and interact with you live on the air, and it helps keep the show on. Once you guys help us hit that goal on the Marty Jannetty Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty Indiegogo campaign, Marty is ready to return to Boston. I expect it to be sometime in March. We're getting closer. As I've noted, we cannot produce this show without your help and support. We cannot do it. That's why Season 1 came to an end kind of abruptly in December. We give you a lot of great content for free on YouTube, but need everyone to participate a little so we can keep Wrestling Legends working and more talk show shoot interviews coming your way. If everyone donated $1, it's amazing what we could do and what superstars and legends we could bring to you. So again, warm our hearts on Valentine's Day. Check out the prize in experience-filled Indiegogo campaign now. You can find the link in the premier chat box to your right, in the description box below, and across our social media. Our Patreon streaming service continues to grow, but we need more of you with early, full-screen, ad-free access to all of our weeknight Wrestling Insider shoot interviews, archives with over 300 full-length episodes, our acclaimed studio shoot interview DVD library is seen by millions online and millions more on The Howard Stern Show, Patreon exclusive, watch-alongs, my new semi-regular podcast, Inside the MWF, that shows you how these shoots and live events come to life, and so much more. Join the Boston Wrestling Patreon family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. This is your opportunity to help keep wrestling legends working. You directly can do that, which is something near and dear to our heart. The Boston Wrestling eBay store is open 24/7 with great merchandise from superstars of every era. You can find the link in the description box below, or if you go over to bostonwrestling.com, just click the button that says store. As we bring you more great free wrestling infotainment this week, please like, share, and subscribe to all that we do for wrestling fans and wrestling legends alike. With that said, here he is. He is the man that nearly blew the roof off of every major arena across the United States and around the world. The man that guided Men on a Mission to the World Wrestling Federation Tag Team Championship nearly 28 years ago. A man that was nearly nominated for a Grammy Award in 2022. He's on a roll. David Reese's partner in crime. I could only be talking about one man, the Vice President of Boston Wrestling Sports, the Man on a Mission himself, Oscar. Oscar, it is a pleasure to have you with us once again. How did things go in Chi-Town last week when we last left you?
Everything went fine. I actually will send you the video of the song that I did. It just came out a few hours ago.
Really?
And it's already got 236,000 hits.
Wow.
On YouTube.
What is the song called?
It's about the Olympics. It's called Olympics in Peace.
Olympics in Peace?
Mm-hmm.
Now, you're not talking about John Cena Sr.'s Peace.
Not John Cena Sr.'s Peace. We're talking about
peace in the world.
Peace in the world.
Okay.
And yeah.
Well, we just wanted to clarify.
Tied in with the Olympics.
Well, it's a good, timing-wise, that's pretty good. Did you write this song, or did you just sing it?
No, I wrote it and performed it.
Well, I can't wait to see it. I hope the fans have a chance to check it out as well. Maybe we could play a few tunes here on the show. I know last time we got a little bit of trouble about that because we didn't get expressed written consent before we played the music video, but that's all right. We figured it out with the folks behind the scenes there. But you're a busy man, hopefully going for a Grammy in 2023.
Well, I mean, anything could happen. I hope so.
Well, I also understand that you spent a small fortune today on Valentine's Day, not only giving some love to Dreamy Mimi, but apparently a little something sent to Lita.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't leave her out.
John Cena Sr. and I were discussing that Friday night on Wrestling Insider's Fabulous Fridays, this Lita making you feel all warm and fuzzy.
No, yeah, Lita, that's my side girl. I love Lita.
She's your side piece.
She's my side, yeah.
You think that's what Johnny says, what's on the top of his head? It's his side piece?
No, that's his main piece.
Or it's his top piece, yeah. All right, a lot to talk about in the world of professional wrestling. Around the major promotions, in-house, we got a lot to talk about, but the fans continue to send messages in, Oscar. I don't know if you have any updates, but is there any news on Mo of Men on a Mission?
Not since the last time I reported in, but no news is good news. From what I understand, he is definitely on the mend, getting stronger. His kidneys had kicked back in, so there has been no change for the worse that I know of. If there was, I would know. So, nope, everything is going in God's direction when it comes down to Mo.
He's home and on the mend.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's good to know. All right, on to the world of Boston Wrestling, MWF, and... wait a minute, wait.
I gotta ask some questions before we get into that. And we never do this, but...
All right.
But yesterday was the man's day. Did you catch the game yesterday by chance?
Are you kidding me? Do you think I had time for that?
No.
I was busy here at the studio until... What time did we leave? 10:30?
Yeah, no.
Another 13-hour days to give the fans entertainment. Did you watch the Super Bowl?
I watched the Super Bowl, and I saw a lot of my friends from LA who performed in the halftime show.
Oh, wow.
So it was really special. Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre and Eminem and Mary J. Blige and Kendrick Lamar and a lot of individuals I came up with in the music business.
Wow.
Dr. Dre, his first job in music was at a club called Eve After Dark, where I used to rap at. So that was his very first job. And Snoop Dogg, I participated in his Little League football that he has as one of, I would show up as be an honorary coach.
Wow.
So yeah, no, I'm sorry. A really great time watching him. And I was adamantly against Cincinnati, and my dreams came true.
Why were you against Cincinnati?
I just don't like him, and I can't stand Joe Burrows. I just was and he got sacked like, I don't know, 50 times yesterday, and I enjoyed every one. He got sacked like 7 times.
Well,
but
I was going to say, probably it'll be another 30 years before they're in the Super Bowl again.
That's what I say. Haley's Comet will come back before you see Cincinnati back in the Super Bowl. So I hope they enjoyed their day.
If I remember, the last time they were in the Super Bowl, I was in the 3rd grade when they played the 49ers.
That's about right.
So
that's about right.
It's been a minute since Cincinnati had their time in the spotlight. For the fans in Cincinnati, you know what? I always look at it like this. The years the Patriots lost when they were in the Super Bowl, it took a heck of a lot just to get there. You know what I mean? If that's not a successful season, I don't know what is. Everybody wants to win the big game, but in the end, you can't win them all. So both teams should be proud that they got there, but it's a good day, I guess, for the city of Los Angeles.
It is, and I want to say that your son will be grown operating the studio, and then Cincinnati might go in there around that time.
It could be a while. It could, my gosh, let's see, if you're working with that time frame, I'd be in my early 70s.
Okay, so in the world of wrestling, after much patience and emails and phone calls, I finally heard from Big Shot David Reese day before yesterday.
Oh, and what did the good doctor have to say? The president of Boston Wrestling Sports, and now the AEW, I guess, mental health program director.
He has solidified his deal with AEW. Matter of fact, he showed me a letter that he got from AEW. They had Tony Khan has personally signed off on all of his proposals to have seminars and Zoom tutorials, and they even given him a budget to put a team together to help in this endeavor. We're going to negotiate me actually hands-on managing the team that's going to be put together, because he's not going to really have time to do it. But somebody...
What do you mean he's not going to have time to do it?
He even said that. He's not going to have time to do it. So he has to have a manager to, do the things that he's not going to have time to do. Because between, working with patients and overseeing this, he's just, I don't know, the man is just busier than Biden. I told him that. I was like, it's easy to get a hold of President Biden as you, but he's got a lot going on. He was sick for a few days last week, so.
Well, he sent me a text when everything was official, and he was very, very excited, almost giddy. I don't know if I've ever seen David Reese giddy, but
no, David Reese is giddy, and he was expecting, he's expecting quite a bit of compensation from the situation. So, yeah, he's a happy camper.
Now, do you think that puts a pause on the gentleman's club that he was working on in Las Vegas, Reese's Pieces?
Well, no. What's going to wind up happening is the money that he make, it's a good thing. The money that he's going to make from AEW alone is going to let him finance that club eventually.
He's going to finance the pieces at some
point. He's going
point.
to finance it himself because he's making hand over fist. He's raking it in.
David effing Reese, I tell you. You guys worked long and hard, and it finally paid off. You started so long ago, there wasn't even an AEW.
Right.
All right. Well, good for David Reese. I'm glad you're involved with the project. We can't wait to hear more and more about it as time goes on. But, Oscar, here in the world of Boston wrestling, it's been a week of announcements, a week of sabotage, a week of scandal, a week of heart-warming news. I don't even know where to begin, where to end when it comes to some of this. It's been frustrating on my end. Earlier tonight, we announced the 6th featured superstar for the event, the man that scored the pinfall on the British Bulldogs and Tito Santana at WrestleMania 3. Sometimes wrestler, sometimes heel referee, Dangerous Danny Davis, a man that you worked with back in the mid-'90s.
Oh, Danny Davis is coming.
Dangerous Danny Davis.
Yeah, I love Danny Davis.
Is he dangerous?
Oh, yeah, he's dangerous.
Like the
Danny
Roxette
Davis
song? Or?
Yeah, he's a scoundrel, that Danny Davis.
Now, what do you mean he's a scoundrel?
Yeah, he's a scoundrel. Danny Davis didn't know what he wanted to be, but whatever he was really good at it.
Well, it's going to be a great chance for the fans to pick up Danny Davis's book, get an autograph, pose photo with the man. I would say on the 8 featured legends that the chairman would like us to have, he's probably going to rank number 8, which is fine. You know, you have to put together your card for main event, mid-card, top to bottom, and so on and so forth. Very excited to have Danny with us for the first time, where he is a Massachusetts native. We're hoping to have him in studio as well. But the main point of contention, Oscar, has to be the drama with that low-life scum, Jake the Snake Roberts again.
Okay, well, what happened now?
Well, we alluded to it last week, but after 3 no-shows / cancellations in the past...
Oh, wait, whoa, stop.
Yes.
I'm glad you brought that up.
All right.
Because I saw the video, and I was so pissed at you.
Me?
I couldn't even sleep.
Why?
Why is the question? It only take a half a time, not even one time, a half a time for a guy to put his foot up your ass for you to see who he is or see who they are and then not deal with them no more.
Well,
why do you keep Why do you keep, and not just that individual, but in other instances, and I've known you a long time now, why do you keep banging your head up against the same cement wall before you get it? You spent money on plane tickets not once, not twice, not the third time, not the fourth times. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and then expecting a different result, and you get the same result. So why did you flush all that money down the toilet instead of after the first time just throwing your hands up and saying screw it and moving on?
I was told by mutual friends that with the time he spent living with DDP at the Accountability Crib down in Georgia, that he is a clean man, a sober man. I have spoken to friends in AEW and quote-unquote WWE legend types that, see Jake and interact with Jake, and they say that the man, as far as his sobriety goes, is in a very good place. And as much as I personally hate Jake Roberts, he is someone that the fans like. He is someone that the fans would like to meet and greet. He's disappointed an awful lot of fans with this, but at the end of the day, this had nothing to do with drugs and alcohol. If fans have not seen the video that we put out, it was just about the man and his daughter, his / agent, choosing not to live up to the agreement that was put together. I'm sorry.
Right there. So let's say all of that was in play. All of that was in play the second time around.
Okay.
What possessed you to give 2 more chances after that? We talking 4 chances. Why?
You try and make the fans happy. Look
You
at how many times did Vince and the Ultimate Warrior play roulette like that? You know what I mean?
Vince.
Well, very true.
You're not Vince, and you don't have Vince's money to flush down the toilet. This is AEW's. This is AEW.
Boston
this
Wrestling,
is Boston
MWF.
Wrestling money, and as the vice president, knowing that these numbers just got twisted in the damn wind, this don't make me happy at all. Now I'm talking to you officially, because as great as Jake the Snake Roberts is, there's too much damn talent out there from back in the day or whatever to move on after it don't work out, not once but twice. But you kept on doing it, and he still ain't coming.
Well, we have been in contact with the folks at DDP's Accountability Crib. We've tried to reach out to folks in AEW to see if they can assist. We certainly don't want Jake to ruin this fundraiser, but I would say it's unlikely. And as you can imagine, my anger level about certain things. And as I was battling with Jake Roberts over this changing of the agreement, when I continued to ask them to show me anything they claim it was agreed to before coronavirus, I said, show me something, show me anything that says I agreed to that, and I would fix it on the spot immediately. I would rip the credit card out of my pocket. And you know what? They didn't show anything. Then all of a sudden it turned into, oh, I'm concerned about sending Jake to you. You know what? He's the asshole that knifed us several times. We should be the ones with the concern, as obviously shown right here. Then it turned into, oh, he's not going to come because they took me saying that it was going to become a public issue is a threat. Well, you know what? Are we not supposed to tell the fans what happened? Should it be a secret? Should we just say F you to our great fans that support us year in and year out, decade in and decade out, so Jake's feelings aren't hurt? No, I say fuck Jake Roberts as far as that goes. Then they tried to offer me, well, Jake would be happy to send some pictures and reimburse you for up to $1,000 of past airline tickets, but he's not going to come, blah, 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 blah. And my head nearly exploded. And at that point, I began to reach out to every human being from the 1980s that was alive. And I threw out the Hail Mary pass, Oscar. One that, if you asked me maybe even a week ago, because that's why we didn't talk about it on the show where this was so fresh and fluid and still a moving situation, I never in my wildest dreams expected that Hacksaw Jim Duggan would say yes, considering he just had cancer surgery. But online, Jim was down at Universal Studios in Florida with his lovely wife visiting his daughter. And I said, you know what? The worst that they're going to say is no. And instead they said yes. So Hacksaw Jim Duggan, a man of character, a man of integrity, a man that the fans are going to love to see and pay homage to for all he's been through. I don't know if beating cancer is the right word. For the second time, live at Memorial Hall in Melrose, Saturday, April the 16th. I know there are fans that are let down by Jake Roberts. To them, I say, Jake's Twitter is @JakeSnakeDDT. Send him a message. Let him know what you think. Maybe there's a small part of me that could think that where Diamond Dallas Page worked so many miracles with him in the past, perhaps he might be able to talk some common sense into him, or even people in AEW, where he's a contracted talent there, is the world's tallest manager. But he's just such a lowlife. I really don't even want him here at this point, but I know the fans do, because the fans showed great disappointment when we made that announcement. But they're even more pumped up that Hacksaw Jim Duggan is coming to town.
See, it's not even just Jake the Snake Roberts. I mean, it's like this cycle with you or y'all, because it may not just be you by yourself making these rabbit ass decisions. The same thing with Marty Jannetty. Marty and you got into it in a physical fight.
Almost.
So, okay, same thing. I mean, a threatening situation, and his actions proved him not to be best for business. And when I say best for business, our business. But yet and still, you being you turn around and still take a chance to work with the dude. And I'm at a loss as to why you keep giving away these chances under these bizarre and yet unforgivable circumstances.
Well, the thing with Marty is, I understand Marty. I understand that he's in a lot of pain. I understand that he foolishly decided to have 2 major reconstructive ankle surgeries within a couple of months of each other. He should have never done that because he could barely walk. He was in a tremendous amount of pain, but he wanted to rush it. He wanted to get through it. So again, I'm not trying to knock Marty for those that like to spread the internet gossip, but in my opinion, I feel he made a poor choice. If it was me and I had to have 2 separate operations to reconstruct 2 ankles, I would do them one at a time so I could become mobile on one of them first. You know what I mean? So I do understand the amount of pain he was in. When he was with us in September, he was much better. When he was with us November 13th, I think you can attest to the fact that he was in great spirits that night. But you know what? I'm not going to deny it. There have been some really, last February and last June, there were 2 days that were really, really tough days at the office, so to speak. But, you know, if we can get that Marty that showed that spirit in September, if we can get that Marty that showed that spirit on November 13th, I think you have a great guy to have around because he can contribute to the industry. I don't know where he is at physically right now, as I only saw him for mere minutes on November 13th. I don't know how well he's physically moving around. But in our interactions on the phone, I haven't got that vibe that, you know, he may have a buzz or something like that. And you know what? All the better to him. I would like to see him take advantage of WWE's offer to help him. He has chosen not to at this point, and that's at his discretion. But like I said, I think a healthy, focused Marty really has a lot to contribute. I think the same can be said for Jake, other than the fact that Jake's an asshole. And I don't think that Marty's an asshole. I think Marty has a good heart. I just think it goes awry when he uses certain substances to try and medicate physical pain, and with the life that he's led, you know, when he was a kid, you know, I imagine mental help. I wish him and David Reese could connect. I think, or someone in David Reese's profession, as I think it would do him a lot of good.
Which brings me up to the third thing.
Okay, you got more.
Did you solidify the WrestleCon situation?
No. Because here's what's going to, you know what? Should I say this on the
Yeah,
First of all,
should,
before we get there, and I will answer everything honestly and upfront. Don't worry about that. But you didn't have anything really to say about Jim Duggan. That's I think a great story.
Well, I'm glad he's coming. I mean, there was a story in which I think I told the story. I was in a magazine for the first time. I was excited. The guy said, I'll give you about 20 magazines.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know where he was, but he was somewhere close to the ring. I just came from my match. Hacksaw had his match. So I come out of the gorilla position to go see the guy. And I mean, all hell broke loose. J.J. Dillon was like, "What the f are you doing?" I mean, you going to the ring, you going towards this. It was almost like I was doing a run-in. He said, "If I was Hacksaw Jim Duggan, I'd have got out the ring and punched you dead in your head." But Hacksaw, I apologized to Hacksaw, and Hacksaw just laughed it off. He said, "Oh, we were all green at one time. Don't even worry about it."
Hey,
And
that's a nice response.
That's how sweet the guy was. Now, had it been Lex Luger or I could think of a whole bunch of different names, I would have got it. It would have been a different outcome, I promise you.
Well, it's just I'm amazed. Like I said, I really didn't expect a yes out of this, and we needed a yes. I think Paul Bearer up in the wrestling heavens, the Cauliflower Alley Club reunion above, said, you know what? Marathi went through hell back for the November 13th event. I'm not going to let him go through it again. And like I said, one more thing I want to note about Jake before I get back to your question was you have to remember this agreement and advertisement was in place pre-coronavirus. If you look at the original 8 superstars we had for this event when it was going to be in April of 2020, just weeks after the virus broke out, again, Jake and Road Warrior Animal were the featured two, and unfortunately, Animal is no longer with us, and Paul Orndorff is no longer with us, and so it's quite a different 8 that we're going to have compared to the 8 that we advertised for April of 2020. But what can you do? Such is life. The world has gone crazy with coronavirus. We've had Lanny Poffo leave the country. We had Jake's knives in the back. We had 2 pass away. We had the Tony Atlas situation. We had Tony was already paid partially for this event and just decided to keep it. But anyway, moving later.
There's a guy.
Who now?
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he's either on the board of Cauliflower Alley or he used to be on the board of Cauliflower Alley. Anyway, he's very influential in the Cauliflower Alley space. His name is Dr. Mike Lano, and I mean, the guy is like best friends with Dave Meltzer, who I never met Dave Meltzer. I couldn't pick him out of a lineup, but at the same time, I know who he is and I know his influence. Dave Meltzer has information about like events that's thinking something. Dave Meltzer know it the next day, and I never could figure out how he does what he does. But he does it anyway. This Dr. Mike Lano is a very powerful individual.
I would not call him a powerful individual, Oscar. But anyway, continue.
Oh, you know him?
The Boston bad boy Tony Rumble created a actual job of character after him named Mike Lano. He detested him so much.
Oh, really? Do tell.
Back in the late 80s. I'm sorry, the late 90s when Tony Rumble had the CWA/NWA New England. He thought Mike Lano was a goof and just a pain in the ass in general, running around taking pictures and just pestering people. And so he created a jobber named Mike Lano. There was actually a whole Lano family. There was a Ralph Lano. There was a few Lano. There was Big Dick Lano. Yeah, there were at least 3 Lanos. God. Mike Lano, Big Dick Lano, Ralph Lano. And there may have been another one, but I remember at least 3. Well, that's what Tony thought of him. But I think he's kind of... All right, so anyway, your point about Mike Lano.
I ain't got no point no more because you done, dang, the guy have me convinced that, he was a player, but he ain't.
Please. He subscribes to The Observer. And you know what? Before we go to the break, wanted to throw out a little bit about the Cauliflower Alley Club. We mentioned how excited we were. How excited we are about the... How excited we are about the move to the the plaza from the Gold Coast Casino.
I told Dreamy Mimi last week. I said they moved it to the plaza, but guess what? Same situation. We will not be staying at the Cauliflower Alley Host Hotel because it is just as horrible as where they moving from. So no, we can't stay there.
And you know what? I did say
we can go there, eat the bologna sandwiches, and then go back to where we came from. Go ahead.
I did say I was going to check and see if they had, a room similar to what we used for the interviews with the Godfather and D'Lo and Kevin.
Yeah. What they say?
I didn't do it yet.
You better hurry up. What the hell are you waiting
It's
for?
in September. It's February. Come on, brother. But
if you want something like that, you better get on it because everybody got the same idea. Them rooms go quick. Not necessarily the rooms, but them suites or whatever rooms that, banquet rooms or small meeting halls you trying to get, you need to get on that and secure it as soon as possible.
Well, I did want to check with the hotel. I had an idea, actually, that I wanted to run by Brian Blair and Kyle Lauer that I'll send you a message privately about. But I did want to note, I wanted to send best wishes, and it's kind of ironic because I think the last time he was involved with, and I could be wrong because I've missed a few years, but the last time he was the host, the MC of the award ceremony, was at the Plaza back in 2006. I'm talking about Pepper Martin, a big superstar back in the 50s, 60s, out in the West Coast territories. Apparently he's in hospice care, and he actually told your friend Mike Lano, as a matter of fact, that he knows, unfortunately, that his time is coming to an end. So we send at least positive thoughts and well wishes to Pepper. He went on to have a unique career in Hollywood. He was in Superman 2. He beat up a weak Superman. I don't know if you're familiar with that spot. From Superman 2, he was in the...
Wait. Who did he play? Did he play Zod or was he the big guy?
He was the big guy that beat up Superman when Superman was weak.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I know exactly who that is.
He was in the original Walking Tall, so he wasn't a major player in Hollywood, but he had some bit parts and some big movies.
Yeah,
and
no. I remember him. Oh man, because I've seen Superman 2 10 times, and I know about the Superman characters. There was Zod, and then there was Ursa, and then I can't remember what his name was. It'll come to me.
Well, all I remember him as is he was the villain that beat up Superman when Superman was weak. But everybody out there, even if you don't know Pepper Martin, I never saw a Pepper Martin match, I think he sang too, from what I remember. And he had a great voice. I remember that he had a great voice. He was a great host for the CAC reunions, and when you get to that point when you know your time has come, at least he's at peace with it, apparently, which is I guess a good thing. I'd like to think that I would be when my time comes, but who knows? But best wishes to Pepper Martin and family.
Definitely.
So just send him a positive thought. Positive thoughts and positive energy, I think, goes a long way. And look at who that's coming from. But before we go to break, I want to answer your question, what you talked about WrestleCon. Here is my concern about doing it. And I think it turning into not generating the results that we are looking for. And it's kind of twofold the way we do it. Because, number one, I want to promote all of our talk shows to a lot of fans that might not know we exist. But B, we also do the autograph and the pose photos because it's very expensive for that booth space for WrestleCon. Here's what worries me, Oscar. Talking to friends in WWE, WrestleMania ticket sales are not good. If WrestleMania ticket sales are not good, that means there aren't going to be as many people in Dallas. If there aren't as many people in Dallas, that means not as many are going to be going to WrestleCon. If that means they're not going to WrestleCon, that means they're not helping us cover the costs of all of our expenses that go into being there. So I don't know if it's better to wait until Los Angeles next year, maybe when more people are willing to travel and go to WrestleMania. Maybe if WrestleMania turns back into a one-night event at that point, I don't know. I don't remember if they've officially announced if the one in Hollywood is going to be a 2-night or a 1-night event. But if you're looking at half a house both nights, and a lot of them are going to be the same people, I'm worried. I'm nervous. What do you think? I'll ask your opinion on the air, Oscar, as a matter of fact.
I'm listening to you, and now Los Angeles, we talking about SoFi Stadium, right?
Correct, where they had the Super Bowl last night.
Okay, yeah. That is going to be a much bigger event, much bigger. Like the Super Bowl last night, I think fans will come because the expectation that a lot of celebrities are going to show up. You know, that's number one. And number two, I believe that the creation of that WrestleMania and the maintenance of it, they're going to throw the kitchen sink in that situation because it is in Los Angeles.
Well, not to give too much away, but they are planning on promoting it as the biggest WrestleMania of all time.
Yeah, so
they are hoping that they're finally going to get The Rock and Roman, and it will probably be the finale, at least this go-around, of Ronda Rousey against the man Becky Lynch as their two big matches that they want to promote.
Yeah, no, if you got the patience to wait it out and to make a choice, you know, but I'm like this, you know, if you can't make it to Dallas, I would go simply because, you know, ain't none of us guaranteed to be around next year for Los Angeles.
Have no doubt about it. I would really like to go, but I'm just looking at it from as far as looking at the calendar and looking at the numbers. Again, if there's going to be a half a house both nights, and it's going to be the same people, both nights probably going, that's not the crowd that was there the first time they had the WrestleMania at AT&T Stadium, which was billed as 102,000 people, and that WrestleCon did tremendous. But if there aren't going to be that many fans in town, and would that be money better spent on just simply advertising the April 16th event locally here in the Boston area? You know what I mean?
Now, where have they put feelers out as to where they possibly can even have WrestleCon in LA?
That I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I do know that they, at one point, were doing site surveys, so they've at least been looking.
Well, okay.
And I'm sure even if they do, they haven't announced it yet. Why would they?
No, they know by WrestleMania, they know where they're going to have it.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure they know now. They just, they don't want to announce it. Well,
yeah, but
if it was money coming out of your pocket, Oscar, what would you do? Would you go to what could potentially be a half-filled AT&T WrestleMania in Dallas, or would you hold out the booths that you have for the big one next year in LA?
Oh no, I would. If I had to make a choice, I would definitely do LA hands down.
So you're thinking what I'm thinking then, especially.
But again, but there's a but.
Okay.
But again, like I said, you know, you are talking a full year out. You understand what I'm saying?
True, but we also have back to the 80s 2 weeks after the fact. Would all that money that we'd be investing into WrestleCon in Dallas, would it be better spent, like I said, on just simply even advertising here in this area? Get the word out, you know, media ads and social media ads and things like that. In my opinion, I think that's the way to go. You know, everybody is, we're soliciting opinions as we speak, because we really have to make a decision within the next day or two, which we're going to pull the trigger one way or the other, but are we going to aim it towards Pigottville at Memorial Hall, or are we going to aim it towards Dallas? And when you add up all those costs, it's an expensive endeavor, you know?
Yeah, you might as well just, you know, wait for Los Angeles and
pump up back to the 80s.
Pray to good Lord that we want to go to WrestleMania next year, so keep us around.
Yeah, like you said, it's not a guarantee that we'll even be in this world, but, you know, calling a spade as it is right now, I think it would be better to focus more on the Back to the 80s event as far as the financial resources go, because I want to fill Memorial Hall on April the 16th.
Nah, well, I don't have no doubt. I mean, we didn't do you didn't do too bad with the '90s event. So the '80s event, but see, the '80s event is always my concern because it's the '80s event. These cats are real older, so having
You think we should have some
actually-
backups on call?
Oh man, you said it without me even saying it, because I mean I love my '80s brothers, though, but they're not reliable.
And not other than Jake Roberts, not intentionally. It's just
one backache and they gonna pull out.
Well, I mean, look at what happened with Jim Duggan. I mean, when he was going to be with us November 13th, he wound up needing cancer surgery. So anything can happen.
Nobody showed up November 13th. You had to come up with a whole way. I came up with a whole new plan.
Well, we had to flip the script, I should say, because originally November 13th was going to be back to the 80s, and April 16th was going to be back to the 90s. Yep.
Because we was all going to come.
Oh, it was a nightmare. It was one of the worst experiences I've ever had in 20 plus years of Boston wrestling. But thank the good Lord. What's that?
That was your own fault.
How is it my own fault?
But I mean, oh man, you want to go on commercial, come back, and I'll tell you.
No. All right, fans, we'll take a brief timeout. We'll come back, and Oscar's going to lace me. Stand by. Wrestling fans, VIP packages and tickets are on sale now to Boston Wrestling MWF's Back to the 80s live wrestling event and Legends Fan Fest, Saturday night, April the 16th at Memorial Hall in Melrose, Mass. Get the best seats in the house now at bostonwrestling.com. The World Wrestling Federation was live at the St. Louis Arena in St. Louis, Missouri, Valentine's Day, Friday, February the 14th, 1992, an infamous day where the St. Louis Police Department and Drug Enforcement Agency searched the talent for drugs. As noted in studio shoot interviews, the WWF was tipped off and warned wrestlers before the event. The opening contest, Tatanka beat model Rick Martel. The Undertaker with the win over J.W. Storm, who replaced Kerry Von Erich, who was suspended for a drug test failure. The Bushwhackers defeated Brian Knobbs and Kato, who replaced Jerry Saggs. WWF Tag Team Champion IRS victorious over Virgil. The Warlord beat Jim Brunzell. Bret Hitman Hart with the win over the Monty. And in the main event, the Macho Man, Randy Savage, defeated Jake the Snake Roberts in a steel cage match. If you were in St. Louis live, share your memories in the comment section below. Use the links in the description box to keep Wrestling Legends working in our eBay store and on our acclaimed Patreon streaming service so we can bring you more interactive superstar shoot interviews to relive the good old days of professional wrestling. Check it out. Boston Wrestling Sports in the MWF explodes into a new year with professional wrestling content galore and need you to join our family. Every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. after our Monday Night Raw review, it's Wrestling Insiders at your house with WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas. Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. after NXT and AEW, join rotating legends on Wrestling Insiders Special Edition. Every Thursday night at 10 p.m. after our NXT and Dynamite review, it's Marty Jannetty's No Holds Barred Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll journey on Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty. Friday night after SmackDown, don't miss John Cena Sr.'s Wrestling Insiders Fabulous Fridays. Plus, look for classic clips, history videos, bonus live episodes, pay-per-view watch-alongs, and more. For less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks, get early ad-free access. Fans, we warned you this day would come. Unfortunately, we're running out of original episodes of Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty each and every Thursday night at 10 p.m., but we're starting up that Indiegogo. You can help the cause. You can help Marty's show continue each and every week. Nobody does it like Marty. We had an incredible time with him at our 20th anniversary bash, November 13th at Memorial Hall here in Melrose. We want to have the good times keep on rolling, but we can't do it without you. Look for the Indiegogo link in the comment section below or across our website and social media platforms. We have some great perks, great rewards where you can even meet Marty himself. There's nothing like it. Since July of 2020, every week we've brought you the show. We need your help to keep on going. We tell you, without wrestling fans, there is no professional wrestling, and there's no better time to help the cause now. Let's keep Marty rocking each and every Thursday night. Wrestling fans, the winter heats up with the return of the Berzerker John Nord. The WWE legend will be back for Wrestling Insider tapings, live episodes, watch-alongs, and cyber autograph signings beginning Sunday, February the 20th. Check out Boston Wrestling's exclusive print that the Berzerker will sign for you live on air. Get ready for 3 big days of the Berzerker John Nord. Head on over to bostonwrestling.com for complete information. Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Marotti.
And I'm John Cena Sr.
Johnny, the momentum here in Boston Wrestling continues as we continue to build and build and build. The fans want to know, how do we help? We subscribe to the Patreon, but we see all the great merchandise on that set. Coronavirus may have killed the nightlife, especially for someone like Marty, but our acclaimed eBay store is open 24/7 around the world.
Wow. Check it out.
Support Wrestling Insider's in-studio shoot interviews on eBay with this brand new personally autographed WWE Royal Rumble 2021 11x14 poster signed by WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns, his advocate Paul Heyman, and Kevin Owens. Reigns and Owens battled for the Universal title in a last standing match January 31st in the Thunderdome in Tampa. This limited edition collector's poster is number 31 of only 50 produced. Comes with WWE authentication hologram on the poster itself. Also comes with an on-air shout-out from WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas and a bonus autographed 8x10 photo. Get this rare, awesome collectible for your man cave and help keep wrestling legends working now. All right, wrestling fans, welcome back to segment 2 of Wrestling Insider's Monday Night Mission here on Valentine's Day night. Just saw the go-home edition of Monday Night Raw from Indianapolis, Indiana, as we get ready for Elimination Chamber at high noon Eastern Standard Time this Saturday. In the final premium event, not a pay-per-view anymore before WrestleMania, but Oscar, we were talking about our big back to the 80s, back to the 90s extravaganzas we had. You were ready to get in one final dig, but you said go to the commercial break. What do you got for me?
It was your own fault because I told you repeatedly to keep your damn mouth shut. But you thought it was going to be funny to keep poking that pig that we call Piggy. You kept poking and poking and poking and poking and poking.
Well, that had nothing to do with the wrestling lineup.
Yeah, well, things would have went better if you was in the damn.
Oh, I agree, but you have to remember what led to that. It had nothing to do directly with me in that monstrosity that you just mentioned. Someone when they were sending the insurance binders to her via email, the individual didn't delete a private email conversation where there was a phrase in there that it was indirect, almost science fiction-like, but Piggott had her silver bullet at that point, and boy, did she fire away, baby. Boy, did she fire away. But I would just so you, and in case there's any confusion on your end, there was never a direct confrontation or anything like that. She read the entire email that included the insurance information on it, and it had our good friend Seven is walking by the studio, Oscar. I enjoy seeing Seven walk by, but anyway, but it's not like
you are always making friends and influencing people. That is your gift.
Well, thank you.
And you do it well.
There was never. There had been confrontations with her in the past, but as far as what happened in the fall, nothing like that at all. It was a matter of this gentleman accidentally, not intentionally, forwarded an email because she was bothering him and pestering him when he was trying to get on a flight for work, and he just said, here you go. And he sent her the insurance information in an email. Then she opened up, she got the insurance information. Then she read our private conversation, which I guess, it was emailed to her. She had that. It was at her discretion to read it, but that's what was said. And at that point, I don't even know what happened. All I know what the end result was. And we know what the end result was, and it wasn't good.
Yeah, we know what the end result was.
You know what I found would really get me angry, Oscar? I'll even put it out there. And the chairman didn't want to get me even more fired up than I already was around that time. But did you know, I don't even know if I told you this, Piggott had undercover police guarding her that night in case I showed up to try and attack her. Now, this is swear to God, this is true. Swear to God on the kid's life. Well, this is how it was told to me, is how I believe it to be true. They had 2 undercover cops protecting Piggott from someone that can barely walk. I hate to say it, but Piggott could probably kick my ass as much as I hate her.
I wanted to ask her. I wanted to go to her and ask her, "Hey, where's Dan Verratti?"
We should have gone in and visited with Piggott.
And for what?
Well, I don't know. Marty said she was flirting with him.
Yeah, she might have been.
She was ready to take. Well, I shouldn't even say that. I was going to say she was going to take more than the mask off, but I won't say that.
Shut up.
All right. On to other things in the world of professional wrestling. This Saturday, Oscar, as we noted, it's the big Elimination Chamber pay-per-view from the Kingdom of Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Let's try and run through as much as we can as quick as possible. Is it going to be the Goldberg finale? Last match on his contract. Is Goldberg going to shop his services as a free agent to WWE and AEW? What's going to happen with Billy Goldberg? I certainly do not see him defeating Roman Reigns, but...
Now, there's rumors swirling around that Reigns is trying to inch his way out of the wrestling space so he can get more into Hollywood. The only way he can do this is by dropping the belt and going on about his business so he can be the next John Cena or The Rock in Hollywood, which from my understanding is his aspiration. So why not drop it to Goldberg?
Yeah, it's WrestleMania season, and he's in it for the big payday, and the main event's already lined up for WrestleMania. It's just a question as how the execution of it is going to come off. I would say under no circumstances will Roman be losing the championship. I'm more interested in what's Goldberg going to do. Is he going to ride off into the sunset? Is he going to try and play Vince against Tony Khan to see who he can get a bigger payday from? What is the future of Bill Goldberg after Elimination Chamber, in your opinion?
If Goldberg can create a bidding war, he would be dumb not to. But see, here goes the thing with AEW. I mean, I don't know where they're gonna put people. I mean, I don't. All right, say Goldberg goes to AEW. What's he going to do when he gets there? I mean,
would you want to see him against Sting? Or you think think that's a little that might be better for the video games and action figures at this point?
It would be better because at this point you got wheelchair versus electric scooter. I mean, no, for real. But
well, you know what? I think if Tony Khan per se had that kind of money to spend, I mean, multi-million dollars a year, to have Goldberg come in for 2 matches a year. From a publicity point of view and a credibility point of view, might it be worth it? Would he add buys on pay-per-view enough to cover that? I'm not 100% sure. I don't. I'll say this, with the money that they have, I don't know if it would be the worst risk they could take.
No, it wouldn't be the worst risk. But see, the thing is, from what I understand, money is just not Tony Khan's problem.
What do you mean?
I think money is not his problem. They seem to have
no, not at all. I mean, even if they weren't
unlimited war chest, I think Vince does too. But Vince is a lot more conscientious of spending the money.
And you know, the crazy thing is, even with all the departures of what I consider to be great talent that I would have wanted to have kept, The Fiend, Braun Strowman, Andrade Almas, Aleister Black, Kyle O'Reilly, to name a few, I can see them opening the coffers to spend the big money to keep Goldberg around, because he's one of the few quote-unquote legends left from that, golden era back in the Monday Night Wars and the Attitude Era, that they can still pull the trigger on once or twice a year.
Yeah,
He's not 1999 Goldberg anymore, but he's still, he keeps himself in great condition for a 54-year-old man. I wish I was in his condition now.
You just answered your own question.
What's that?
If they got rid of the names you just mentioned, then do they really have any truck getting rid of Goldberg or anybody else for that matter?
Well, Goldberg, they have, at this point, they have no say. He's done. But the question is, are they going to open up negotiations to renew him? Are you there, Oscar?
No, I'm thinking.
Oh, all right. Well, I didn't know. The chairman is piping in on the other line. I didn't know if it disconnected our call or something like that. I'll have to speak with him after our podcast.
No, the answer is, they'll make an offer. Will they give him what he's demanding? I don't think so. I think that they will pass before they let him dictate terms. Because
he's a businessman.
They can do without. If they feel like they can do without the major players that they let go, then yeah, we can do without a guy that shows up once or twice a year.
Well, like I said, as crazy as it sounds, I think WWE would be willing to open the war chest. They look at him as a premium name. Physically, is he a premium talent anymore when the bell rings? No, but he still talks the talk. He's still got a pretty badass look. I think WWE, if they could renew him to similar terms as they have now, I think A, they will try and keep him, and B, I think they'd be silly not to. But I think it's been silly that they've let a lot of other talent walk, but that's a different story for a different time. Now, what do you think? Go ahead.
Well, see, that's the thing. As long as they got two premium athletes that show up every now and then and get the crowd excited, I believe that they believe, we can pass on certain things and we gonna be all right. They got Brock Lesnar, they got Ronda Rousey, so do we really have to break our necks to keep a Bill Goldberg? And we want to keep him, don't get me wrong, but because we already got two premium athletes that we can rely on to get the crowd excited and to put asses in seats, do we really need a third that we are going to break our backs to get? And the answer is no. I wouldn't do it.
Really? You wouldn't?
No, like I said, I would go to kind of sort of extreme measures to keep him. I'm not going to rush him out the door. I'm going to entertain, any contract that he want to present, but am I going to make myself uncomfortable or put things in a contract that I really don't want to go in there, and let alone give him the numbers that he's, insisting upon in order to stay, when I got these other two situations going that really could make a WrestleMania with the talent I already got, or make any other pay-per-view or do whatever, then I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna, let's say, okay, if he want the same money, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's something to talk about.
You'd renew him? Would you renew him at what he is at now?
I renew what no, you know what?
No.
I wouldn't even do that. No.
You'd give him less.
He got to take a pay cut. I'm sorry.
Well, you know how Nick Khan has been operating thing. He may come back and offer Bill Goldberg $500,000.
Yeah, well, Nick Khan want to keep his job. You can't really blame him. But yeah, I would even offer him the same money. I would insult him by offering him minuscule money, but I mean,
you'd offer him enough. You'd offer him enough to say no.
75% of what you're getting because I need some money for cheesesteaks.
Well, there you go. Do you think that Saturday will be the finale of the woman that makes you feel all warm and fuzzy, Lita, as she takes on Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Championship?
Yeah, I don't see her signing up to come back full time.
No.
I mean,
she's a little long in the tooth. She was older than I even thought she was.
She's got nothing to prove, number one. But number two, the only way that she will do that is, there may be things going on that we don't know. Lita may financially need to stick around for a while and build back up some money in order to get financially comfortable, because I don't know what she's been doing, the past 10 years or so. I haven't heard of
even
anything.
Longer.
But, that don't mean, but 10 years and you ain't been working, that's a long time. So, she, like I said, if she got an opportunity to come back and she need the money, then, yep, she may be sticking around, to be part of the roster for a while.
Well, that wouldn't break your heart.
Nah.
No.
Wouldn't break my heart at all.
All right. In the men's elimination chamber, Oscar, this weekend, where I think the big money match for WrestleMania is going to be title versus title, Universal Champion versus World Champion, Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. Do you see Lesnar leaving Elimination Chamber as the champion? And if that is the case, go ahead.
I do not know how this is going to go. I don't know if it was a smart thing for Lesnar to even inject himself in the Elimination Chamber, and I'll tell you why. The way they left it at the Royal Rumble was great because, okay, now Lashley and Lesnar, it could have been a three-way dance, and it still might be, between Lesnar, Lashley, and Reigns.
Not at WrestleMania.
At WrestleMania.
No, not at WrestleMania. Everything, the promotional materials have already started to be printed.
Yeah, well, so all right. So who it? Don't even tell us.
No, it's going to be Roman and Lesnar. The question is it going to be title for title? Is what I don't know.
Well,
someone is going to leave that chamber hurt. Lesnar just did the job at the Royal Rumble last month. Lashley, they should have never taken the title off of him to begin with to give it to Big E. Are you going to take the title off of Lashley after a month? So either Lashley's going to be hurt or Lesnar's going to be hurt. And if Lesnar is going to be in the top match at Mania, I'm going to think that Lashley's the one that's going to take the bullet. How do you rebuild him again?
That's the part that I don't see. I see, Lashley retaining because the way the Elimination Chamber worked, I don't think he got to pin Lashley to keep it, right? I forget the rules.
All five men have to be eliminated, and whoever the last person is the winner.
Oh, well, okay. Well, it's going to come down to Lashley. It's going to come down to Lesnar.
And Lashley again? Well,
yeah, it's going to, no doubt.
I look forward to it. I don't know what the right path is in this case. I don't think it's a good path for one of those two men. I don't think you don't have Lesnar lose two pay-per-views in a row. And I can't see having Lashley lose the title after just winning it a month ago. I think he gets hurt. Unless maybe they're going to go the direction of turning Lashley as the number one babyface on Raw, which could be a possibility. Maybe that's how they go about doing it. Maybe he turns on MVP. I guess there's a lot of different possibilities that could play out there, but I don't know. I don't think I wouldn't have. And there's no other way out of it because of the rules of the match. But I wouldn't have Lesnar or Lashley lose if I was the booker. I'd keep both of them strong because they're two of the very few strong characters that they have left in the company.
Oh.
How would you have it play out if you had the magic pencil?
You know what? I don't know, and I'm glad that I don't know because, as I'm not a mark, so if I'm intrigued by looking at it to see what's going to happen, then a lot of people should be. So,
yeah,
I can't make a prediction.
I think there is a lot of general interest from the fans that are left. Moving on quickly, the women's elimination chamber is just a horrid group of women. I think it's going to be another terrible match, but there is one slot open for a mystery person, and I think that'll be the one ultimately that's going to win and go on to face Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. You hear a buzz about Asuka returning, Bayley returning, Lacey Evans returning. Who would you like to see walk out of Jeddah as the women's champion to face Becky Lynch at WrestleMania for the Raw Women's title? Do you have a favorite?
Nah, to be honest, I'm going to tell you something. Naomi and Charlotte did a surprisingly excellent job with that match they had on SmackDown. I really enjoyed it. I don't know how you feel about it, but I really enjoyed that match. That was really good. I think Asuka is a good choice because her and Charlotte have had some really good matches. And I believe that as great an athlete as Charlotte Flair is, and she is great, but I think Asuka is better.
I agree with you. Asuka gets in there and she works like one of the guys.
Exactly.
Very believable what she does. And I'll tell you this, you could play off of the storyline that when, I'm going home, I'm not going to be the man anymore, I'm going to be the mom. And they handed Asuka the women's championship in a lunchbox. I think maybe if you had Asuka win the Elimination Chamber, that you could play off of that. Becky Lynch could say, you know what, I went home to be a mother and I gave you the title last time. This time you got to beat me, and you're not going to beat me at WrestleMania 38.
Right.
And you could build up some tension that way. Bayley, I would have no interest in. Lacey Evans, like I said, I love that angle that they did with her and Ric Flair and Charlotte. It's a shame that will never come to fruition because she became pregnant. Another one. I don't know why WWE doesn't put clauses in these contracts about these women getting pregnant. You know what? If they want to go off and start a family, do it the right way. Give WWE notice that you want to do it and that you want to take the time off, and then go have a family. Don't ruin storylines.
No. I'm gonna tell you why. That can't work. Because you could plan a family, but come on, how many families are had and they not planned?
It's called being a professional. It's done in Hollywood every single day when contracts are signed with females. Pregnancy clauses.
My mother didn't mean to have me, so I'm always going to.
She wasn't in a profession where she needed to be a physical athlete, as far as I know.
That's true.
I mean, Becky Lynch, they built her up. They built up Becky Lynch for a year and a half as the man, and then she vanished without doing a job and putting anyone over. So she could start her family. Lacey Evans started a great feud with the Flair family. That had to be dropped so she could go start her family. Ronda Rousey's a perfect example of how it should be done. She did business the right way. She did the job at WrestleMania 35, even though the match sucked and the fans didn't like it all that much. At least she did the job and put over Becky Lynch to give her that push so she could go home and start her family. Ronda Rousey did business the right way as opposed to the other two who were unprofessional about it.
No, I cannot disagree with you in good conscience at that logic. But
all right, good. So you're like me. You'd like it to be Asuka that comes away with the win Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, I would, but in a perfect Oscar world, I would like to see that, but I don't think I don't think it's gonna happen.
When she comes back, how hard is it going to be with my accent for me to try and differentiate Oscar and Oscar?
You're gonna have to do your best. You're gonna have to roll. You're gonna have to roll that R.
I'm going to have to be like Justin Roberts trying to do his over exaggerated ring announcing on AEW. Oscar! Yeah. But speaking of AEW, we'll transfer over there with the big pay-per-view coming up. I'm sorry, no, not pay-per-view, premium events. AEW, two big additions to the roster this week, Oscar. The big mystery surprise was Keith Lee once he became a free agent from his release from WWE. And because I guess he hinted about it so strongly on social media, AEW also brought in Jay White from New Japan Pro Wrestling, who unfortunately I think fits the theme too much in that he looks like a lot of the other guys. He's about the same size, he's got the same hair, he's got the same facials. I wasn't so big on that. I think Keith Lee was a great signing for AEW.
Yeah, but see, like I said, my concern is for the 50th time, you signing people and you getting people on the roster. How many freaking you're not on the board of that company, so you probably don't know this. How many freaking people are on the goddamn roster of AEW when you count them all?
If you include their two internet shows, quite a few. But you know what? If you look back at the glory days of WCW when they were kicking ass and taking no prisoners and beating Monday Night Raw in the ratings every week, they had 150 guys under contract.
But they start lineup, which they worked and which drew fans to TV and to arenas, and they managed that real well. AEW give people, and they don't necessarily have a start lineup. They try to include everybody in everything, and then they got things that don't go nowhere.
Fair enough.
You gotta have storylines like a soap opera. You gotta have feuds that keep the fans tuning in, like the Lone Ranger serials of old. You have to have these things. You can't have it if you got a whole multi-universe gang of people that you done employed, and you trying to keep them all working, and everybody's all over the place. Nobody knows what's going on, and they wrestling just for the sake of wrestling. In other words, doing shit just to be doing shit. I mean, you got to get some continuity. Get your ducks in a damn row. That's my point.
So unless they have a few months of storyline laid out for Keith Lee, you think it was a needless signing? Is that a good way to put it?
I mean, you could sign him, you could pay him, but have a plan for him down the road. I mean, that makes sense.
All right. Well, we'll have to see how it plays out. He did earn a spot in the ladder match at the AEW, I believe, Revolution pay-per-view on March the 5th. So he has a pay-per-view spot, if nothing else. Moving along in the world of professional wrestling, Brian Cage of AEW. He was the FTW champion. He was in Taz's faction. And I don't know what happened. They gave up on him. He hasn't been on TV since October, and apparently his contract is going to be coming to an end if it hasn't come to an end already. I think Brian Cage is the type of guy that WWE would have a lot of interest in as far as his look and his physique goes. Could you see Brian Cage WWE bound? Could you see him going back to Impact? What do you think the future of the big man is, who's got, like I said, on paper, on an 8x10 photo or an action figure, he is almost like what a professional wrestler should look like?
I think that he's going to have options. I believe that AEW got first grabs at renewing his contract. And if he sit down and negotiate properly, he probably will re-sign over there.
They haven't
Because,
used him on
see-
TV since October, and they have 4 weekly TV shows.
Yeah, but the thing is, just because they haven't used them, don't mean they can't use them. I mean,
Fair
they
enough.
may not want they may not want to see him go nowhere. I mean, it's a thing to where, it's a thing to where it happens all over the place. How many people have you seen that WWE put on a shelf, and then all of a sudden, bam, break out, and then they the biggest star on TV? It happens. And see, with AEW, that's more to my point, that you got so many people that, yeah, you got to shelve some people and make way and room to see what some other people are going to do and what they can do.
If my contract was coming up and I haven't been on TV in 5 months, I would see the writing on the wall. I'm not wanted and I'm not coming back.
That ain't necessarily true. And I'm gonna tell you something else. For people that haven't been on TV and they wrestling, and they on the show for 2, 3, 4, 5 months. For some people, if I can renew my contract and that's the case, I might do that. I would rather, let me just sit back and sit at home and get paid for a while and recuperate and all of the kind of stuff, thing like that. Let me recuperate at home.
Well, maybe
As long as they pay me.
maybe there's some validity to what you're saying. I mean, he's certainly not Shawn Michaels in 1996, but again, he's got a great look. I could certainly see WWE having an interest in him, where he's younger than a lot of the top superstars they have right now, especially on the babyface side. They're desperate for any star power they can get their hands on. Granted, is he going to walk in the door in main event WrestleMania? No. But is he someone that they could groom potentially to be a top guy in that company with the look he has? I say yes. I think he would be a good signing for WWE. If I was in talent relations like John Laurinaitis, I would push for it.
Yeah, but see, you got to remember something. Are they going to take that opportunity to get a good signing? You're talking about a company that let go Bray Wyatt. So, I mean, you got to understand their mindset is not always what we think it should be.
Yeah, but he's got the look they love. You know what I mean? He's got that look.
You didn't hear me.
I heard what you said, but I mean, how many of those guys that have been released have the look we're talking about right now? I can't really think of many. Who?
These guys were putting asses in seats.
No, they weren't. They've been drawing nothing.
All right, you know better than me.
Well, I mean, look at the MSG, Christmas week. Well, you were around for Christmas week for WWF house shows. Those were some of the best payoffs of the years for the guys they draw so well. MSG, Christmas week, the second lowest attended live event for a wrestling event since 1947 in that building. Since 1947. You don't think business is hurting? They have half a house.
They don't sell out MSG no more?
They had about 4,000 people paid.
Oh, wow.
Business is hurting. These people are not putting asses in the seats unless they're the ghosts from Paranormal Activity resurrected going to live wrestling events. It's a sad time. And it's funny, it's amazing that they are generating the revenue that they're generating. But I'll even come back to that as a stockholder. As great as it is that this company, for the first time, grossed $1 billion plus in 1 year, imagine how much they'd be grossing if business was up across the board with all the different wrestling metrics.
All right, so Mr. Stockholder, tell us that, because that is a very interesting question we all want to know.
Well, what I'm trying. I'm sorry.
Business is so bad. Business is so bad. How are the financial numbers so damn high?
Simple. Television contracts, live television, anything, even if it's a simulated sport, however you want to categorize pro wrestling, it is something that most people watch live. When you watch live, at least there's a great potential for you to sit through the commercials. Shows that are more sports games, the Super Bowl, NFL football games, NBA games, you're not likely to watch that on a DVR or on a delay. You're either going to watch it live or you're not going to watch it at all. So
Right.
WWE, for all of its negatives, it still is. Raw is one of the highest rated shows on cable television. NXT does a respectable cable number. SmackDown, Fox has been disappointed with some of the results, but you know what? They're getting 52 weeks of content every year as opposed to 17 when they had UFC, which is the main reason why they took the leap of faith with WWE. So when those contracts come due, as crazy as it sounds, even though ratings have plummeted since those new contracts began in 2018 or 19, they could be in for, never mind remaining where they are right now, they could actually be in for an increase. Plus, they had the deal of a lifetime. Even though the numbers across the board for WWE Network subscribers continued to go down and go down, all of these new streaming services popping up are looking for a catch, a hook. I wouldn't have the Peacock network right now if it wasn't for WWE, so we could do our WWE watch-alongs here at the studio. So even though the numbers are declining, it's something that Peacock can pat on its back. It has WWE Network. And all of these different streaming services are going to look to latch on to something that they can call their exclusive brand. And for 5 years, Peacock greatly overpaid for WWE Network. What WWE Network was generating each year in the United States wasn't close to what Peacock paid, which is another $200 million a year financially for WWE, for Peacock to have exclusive rights to WWE Network in the U.S. So it was an amazing deal they put together with great financials. It's just if you look at what the network was grossing as far as the number of subscribers go before Peacock bought it, you'd think Peacock was almost insane. But even with Disney's their streaming service is losing money right now. And I know that firsthand as I have a lot of Disney stock. But investors are looking at these streaming services as a long-term proposition. I get that. Hopefully someday our library has some value. But anyway, that's the reason why the business is doing so good. If you look at live event attendance, down across the board. TV ratings, down across the board. Third-party licensing, down across the board. Every metric you can come up with other than those television financial numbers are down. And you know what? There are certainly ways you can build a bigger and better product. And then that way, imagine if the numbers were up. What would WWE be worth then? That's my question. If you could get more people to watch Raw, more people to watch SmackDown, all the lapsed fans that are out there that were big fans during the 80s, that were big fans during the Monday Night Wars. If you could get, even the ones that came for Cena, when Cena was white hot with merchandise at least, even if he wasn't doing gangbuster business. What if you could get some of those lapsed fans back again? What if you could come up with new, fresh, original concepts to generate new fans that have never watched or have been interested in wrestling before? Imagine if they could get those numbers up. How much would the TV deals be worth then the next time the contracts come due? That's what interests me.
Okay. Now, and you know this firsthand, I know. What is the validity to the rumors of Vince actually selling the company outright to another entity?
Really, the only thing I can go by with the comments that Freddie Prinze Jr. made is that when they were trying to make the deal with Fox, which wound up being for SmackDown, they tried to sell Fox the entire company. And I guess the price was absolutely outrageous, far more than what UFC got when they ultimately sold out. But, it's like they haven't come out and directly said it's for sale, but, Vince has always said, and Nick Khan has said, they're not actively pursuing it, which maybe you can take with a grain of salt, but they are, quote unquote, open for business. So if someone came along with, in my mind, I don't know this to be fact, I know they're going to want to definitely top leaps and bounds what UFC got, which was about $4 billion. What WWE could wind up getting with their history and their archives, you know what? If the right person came along with the right amount of money, with the right streaming service or a TV network that was desperate for ratings, maybe they'd go crazy and say, I'll give you 8, I'll give you 10. I don't know. What do you think?
No, I'm picking your brain because I'm trying to see, who do you imagine is in serious contention to be able to do it? I mean, would it be Disney? That's the first company that comes in mind when I think about it.
Let me toss the ball to you on this one, Oscar. I don't know if you are familiar with this, but within the past couple weeks, or maybe even the past week since we did the last show, or either that or we didn't have time to bring it up, but WWE got into bed with them. They have the streaming rights to WWE Network in India.
Yeah, no, that I know.
Oh, you know that? Okay. So as far as I know, that's the first time WWE has gotten into bed with Disney. But it is the door is open. The forbidden door is open.
Here's the interesting question, though.
All right.
Disney being as family oriented as it's supposed to be, and it has taken some steps. I'll say that, but it's basically a family oriented entity.
Right.
How much would Disney's influence be exerted? Unless they own the company now. Okay, they own the company, they own it. But how much of their influence would be exerted into radically changing the WWE product?
The way the product is presented right now, I don't think you would see a huge shift or a huge difference. I mean, Disney, they do it the way that I've always suggested WWE does it, just on a lighter scale. Disney has G-rated movies, they have PG-rated movies, they have PG-13 rated movies. I've always thought WWE could go that route where they have more kids-oriented. One of the shows could be more kids-orientated. One of the shows could be more adult-themed. I don't know if I'd go as far as to say TVMA, but, just something that's more hardcore and edgier for adults as opposed to a lighter show aimed more towards kids. I don't know why they all have to be the same. I think that's part of the problem. Everything in WWE feels like it's the same.
No, okay.
My opinion, but I think it's really interesting that the door is open with Disney. They obviously have the relationship with Fox. They've been in bed with NBC Universal now, going back to before it was even NBC Universal, just when it was the USA Network back in the 80s. So could you see a bidding war between all three? It would be very interesting. I mean, geez, would my gosh, it's several years before the contract expires, but if ABC was able to get their hands on it and put WWE Network on, see, I don't know if WWE Network would be a good fit for Disney streaming service, where there is so much explicit content from the Attitude Era and ECW. And see, I don't have Disney Plus, so I don't know if they have any content like that on there. I know they bought Fox's library, but I guess I'd have to ask someone that subscribes to Disney Plus. But I mean, Disney is at no shortage of cash. Fox is at no shortage of cash. NBC has always been willing to spend big. So if you get a bidding war with those three giants, or what if someone like Netflix wanted to add WWE Network? What if Amazon Prime wanted to add WWE Network? I was a big proponent, and I suggested this years ago, and I think it was another mistake of that company. Back when streaming wasn't what it was now, I suggested to someone higher up the food chain at TNA Impact to try and get in bed with Netflix. I think it's something, if you took Impact Wrestling off of TV when it still had a decent fan base and you put it on a platform like Netflix, I think you'd be in good shape. I have the Berzerker calling in right now. Everybody's calling while we're talking. What do you think of that, Oscar? Do you think that maybe that could have helped Impact when they were dying and they were on these god-awful TV channels that no one had ever heard of? Pop TV or the one they're on now I don't get, AXS TV and Destination America.
They're on there's a channel now, and I have YouTube TV. There is 2 channels now where wrestling is on 24/7.
Streaming channels?
2 streaming channels. Matter of fact, I'm going in now, and I'm going to tell y'all what's on right now.
Do you think we should start streaming some of our classics 24/7 on YouTube?
I don't see where it would hurt, because that just seems to be the way to go. But see, what my point that I was gonna make is, if WWE is seriously thinking about selling, TNA, it's Impact. Impact got their own streaming channel
on YouTube TV.
On YouTube TV.
Very interesting.
TNA
I didn't
Wrestling,
know that.
Final Resolution is coming on. Then Impact is coming on. Impact coming on again. Impact is on for the next for the next 10 hours.
Very interesting. I never knew that.
Yeah, they got their own channel.
Well, good. If it's generating revenue for that company and it keeps them in business, God bless them, as I want to see that company succeed.
And then you got the Fight Network. They got New Japan Wrestling coming on at 2:00. TNA.
That's on YouTube TV. The Fight Network. I didn't know that.
The Fight Network is on here.
And everyone that subscribes to YouTube TV gets that. It's not a separate paying service.
No, if you get YouTube TV, you get these channels.
Wow. Well, that's very interesting. Speaking of Impact, as we're starting to wind down the show, Lance Storm signed on as a producer / agent with the company. I think that's great. He produced some great talent at his wrestling school out of Calgary. He kind of packed up his life once WWE wanted him for that role down in Orlando, and then they got rid of him almost as soon as the pandemic hit. So he kind of got a knife wound in the back, so to speak. It's good to see that he's with Impact Wrestling, as Al Snow always called it, a great part-time job. Best wishes to Lance in that role. And you want to talk about best wishes, tomorrow, Rich Swann is the birthday boy, our buddy, who we're going to be seeing soon, than later in Boston Wrestling MWF again, but he's going to be a dad sometime soon. I texted him earlier. I don't know if the baby has come, but I think the baby was due today, as a matter of fact. So best wishes to Rich and his wife on a brand new adventure in life as he celebrates his birthday, an actual birth to celebrate.
All right. Well, congratulations. I mean, that's really, really, really good news.
Rich's road hasn't been the easiest one in life. We had a little bit of dissension over the Paul Bearer Holiday Headlocks Toy Drive, but our good friend D'Lo Brown, the Director of Talent Relations for Impact, helped repair the situation, and it's good vibes all around, which is nice compared to what we're dealing with that other scumbag, Jake Roberts.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and guess who's coming into the studio next door, Oscar? Our friend Uptown.
Oh, is he?
He was smoking a cigarette, and he went and got a 24-pack of water, it looks like, over at the mobile gas station next to the studio.
Oh, well,
I don't know. You haven't seen Uptown yet, but anyway.
Hey, how's that kid doing?
What kid?
The new one that you hired that was so fantastic.
He's so busy with school at Emerson. I don't know if we're going to see him until school break, which is a big disappointment because, he, like you just said, he was fantastic. Fantastic. But I'm going to tell him that you said that, as a matter of fact. I thought he was very insightful on the podcast, on the watch-alongs. He's a great fan. He actually knows video production very well because he pays about $50,000 a year to go to school for it. hopefully, if nothing else, we can have him April 16th to help with the Back to the 80s event, which tickets are on sale now at bostonwrestling.com if you didn't hear the rest of our cheap plugs. But a couple of more things to try and get through before we go, Oscar. If you were an AWA fan, I'm sure you remember this young lady. Candy Devine passed away. She feuded with Sherry Martel and our good friend Medusa in the AWA. Really sad. Kind of a young lady. I believe she was in her early 60s. And we lost another one. I think I always like to try and honor these people when they pass. Even if they didn't main event WrestleMania, Candy Devine, she gave up life with her family to go on the road. She put her body through a lot of abuse to work night in, night out in the AWA and other promotions. So I say rest in peace to Candy Devine.
Yeah, I remember watching Candy Devine on TV when I was younger. It's just always heartbreaking when you lose one of our family. And it just, when that happens, and I hate to say this, but it just makes you question your own humanity.
Yeah.
Especially when, and this gets on my nerves, but, there are news outlets and everybody's just saying, a wrestler's lifespan is short. Mm-hmm. And I've heard that so many times, and it always gets on my damn nerve. Our lifespan ain't no shorter than nobody else.
Oh, I disagree with that 100%. I'm sorry. Look at how many of our brotherhood have passed away so young. Are you kidding me? You think the life expectancy is that?
I'm going to give you a whole different perspective on it.
Okay.
The reason why it seemed like that to you is because you're in the industry and you pay attention more to what goes on here. But the truth of the matter is, in everything else, if you was a football player, you would say the same thing about your football community. Mm-hmm. You just pay attention more because you're part of this industry. Mm-hmm. So it would seem like that to you with every death that happened.
Well, I know that we don't see many of what's the average age of someone in the United States now? I believe it's the early 80s, is it not?
Yep.
I don't see too many people in our fraternity living until the early 80s.
But like I'm saying, your football and your baseball brethren would say the same thing if you was paying attention in that industry.
I think you're correct about the NFL. I don't know about Major League Baseball.
No, I'm using it for an example, but
it's a good example. It's a very good example. It's a great analogy.
Firefighters and cops, I mean, look at their lifespan. And I'm talking about, getting killed on the job or smoke inhalation or mold, even after their retirement. I mean, I would tell you that their numbers are way higher than ours. It's just that you're in an industry. When it happens, you take it to heart, you pay attention, and it seems like it, but you're not thinking about other, other entities outside of wrestling. So for you, of course, you would take it personal, and it will seem like it.
Well, and you know what? I do take it personal because whether it's someone I knew, someone I didn't know, someone I was friendly with, someone I was very close with, like Paul Bearer and a few others, even people that I don't like it sometimes. When we lose one of our people, it pulls on my soul. It really does. That's why the Cauliflower Alley Club means so much to me. That's why I like to do the charity work that we do here in Boston Wrestling, MWF. That's why I want to keep Wrestling Legends working. I want to, I think sometimes I just think when it comes to the brain, when it reaches a certain point, maybe this is deep or too deep for this podcast, but I just think, you know what? People are just ready to go, Sometimes this business leaves people bitter and broke in. The 3 Bs, broke in.
No, yeah.
Never mind financially broke, but physically broke.
It really does.
And you know what?
I mean,
if you're in that point where you're in poverty, when you used to be a television star, and I mean
Yep.
the levels of depression that must be there again, which is why I think the idea that you and David Reese originally came up with way back in 2014 was such a great one, and one that I supported so much, because it's there to try and help the boys and the girls, I guess I have to throw in, even though the boys is a compliment, not an insult to the females in this industry. But you know, I think there should be a better way. I think Candy Devine, unless there was some illness that I wasn't aware of that went along with her passing, I think at 64 she should still be alive.
You know, Roddy Piper said it best in an interview. He said that wrestling had no exit plan.
Yeah.
You know, and,
great point.
And that is so prolific, because it don't, you know, because it's like a lot of things in life. It has a great entrance plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you're there and you're doing it, you know, and people are telling you you're doing a good job, especially when you're a big star on TV, you know, it seemed like it's gonna last forever.
And when it ends, it's a major transition.
But see, you know what? I'm gonna tell you, this is what really bothers me. You cannot instill that in these kids today. You know, the ones are, you know, are some of the ones that are on these main rosters have that arrogance about them, and devil may care attitudes, but they don't think about tomorrow. You know, they don't think about the same people you meet on the way up are the same people you meet on the way down.
Yeah.
And this is why ever since I've been in not just wrestling, but the entertainment business as a whole, we can close with this.
Okay.
Treat people with respect. I don't care who it is, because you never know who you talking to.
Yeah.
I learned that a long time ago. When I impressed Barry White rapping, that was one thing. I knew he was Barry White. When I rapped to my manager, Norby Walters, just out the clear blue, I knew the name Norby Walters, and I knew Norby Walters was a big thing in entertainment. But when I was talking to him, I did not know he was Norby Walters. Mm-hmm. So if I went up to him and I was an asshole, I wouldn't be here talking to you today. Because that man took me and changed the course of my life forever. It's because of Norby Walters I got the entertainment business, and it's because of Norby Walters that on that fateful day, I was in Las Vegas to meet Vince.
Right.
Had we never met, or had he never took interest in me because I was an asshole, none of this would have happened. The homeless guy that you meet on the street, at least talk to him with respect, because the Bible says you could very well be entertaining an angel and you don't even know it. Don't look down on people. Look up to everybody, because that homeless guy, one day that could be you, and you want people to treat you like a human being just as well.
Well, fantastic point, fantastic way to wrap up yet another supersized episode of Wrestling Insider's Monday Night Mission. Oscar, your observations, not just the industry, but on entertainment and in life, always makes people think. That's why I think the show continues to grow. There are fans that want more episodes with you each and every week, but you are a man on a mission between your music and your entertainment endeavors and working with David Reese and your work as vice president in Boston Wrestling. I don't know if you can even pull it off, but I know we love having you, at least on Monday night. We're running out of time here, folks. Don't forget, tomorrow we'll be back with an all-day Berzerker John Nord Marathon to get you caught up on our new series, and he'll be with us live this weekend. We're in for a lot of fun. For my partner in crime, the VP in Boston Wrestling Sports, the manager of champions. Again, I don't want to scream it twice on the same show, but you know what he did to roofs all over venues around the world. The man on a mission himself, Oscar. I'm Dan Marotti. We'll see you next Monday night. Good night from Boston. Take it away, Phil.
Hi, this is Phil DeCesare. Thank you for enjoying tonight's Wrestling Insiders. Get early full-screen ad-free access to all our Weeknight Wrestling Insider episodes while helping keep wrestling legends working by joining the Boston Wrestling Patreon family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. You can directly help us bring you more great historical wrestling content 7 days a week to enjoy for years to come.